Dear Supervisor and Board, I am enclosing for your consideration and review a draft of a zoning change to limit heavy industry in the town of Andes. This type of zoning amendment has been adopted in a number of municipalities in the Marcellus Shale area. An additional highway use ordinance may also be helpful to assure that any damage done to town roads would be repaired, should this type of activity ever occur. I am working with a group of municipal attorneys on a comprehensive statute, which I may recommend as well. However, the entire subject of limiting heavy industrial activity in local towns, including hydrofracking, is being actively litigated by those claiming that the home rule powers of local towns, villages, and cities is overridden by state agency jurisdiction. I therefore recommend that the town board adopt a moratorium for 6 months, which can be extended up to 1 year, while the coalition is seeking the strongest legislation possible to protect the interests of our local government.
Okay, Dave.
In addressing the hydrofracking issue, as I stated in my letter, municipalities have gone both ways. There have been 2 lawsuits now commenced against municipalities that have heavy industry legislation in place, zoning, which would include fracking. One was commenced in Middlefield in northern Otsego County, which was brought against a town which had an anti-hydrofracking statute, and that was challenged by a corporation that owned a farm that had given a gas lease, and they're attacking and saying that it's a taking. There's another action that was commenced out in Dryden, which is in Tompkins County, which was brought by a gas company against a town that had adopted an anti-hydrofracking statute. So those are working their ways through the courts even as we speak. The concern, it's not a huge concern, but a concern I have is if the town simply passes another anti-heavy industry zoning law, which it could certainly do, you're gonna be right in the same boat, and it's either these laws are gonna be upheld or they're gonna be overturned. If they're upheld, then I think that's the way to go. If they're gonna be overturned, then we've got to be looking at other options. So I think in the meantime, the safest practice is to do what I'm saying is to pass a moratorium against hydrofracking, or actually any heavy industry, with a 6-month limitation on it. But then as you start getting closer to the end of the 6 months, the board by resolution can extend it up to a year. That way you essentially have a year's breathing room to sort of see which way it's going and respond accordingly, but still having the protection of having a prohibition against fracking in the town occurring. So that's my suggestion. As always, it's up to the board as to which way you want to go. But I think that gives you an opportunity to flex based on what happens in the next year, and something's going to happen in the next year. The DEC is going to have its regs out. The comment period is going to be done. In the draft EGIS that the DEC has put in place, their recommendations are that local zoning be recognized and enforced in anything that they put together. They also, in their draft regs, have a road regulation or road protection statute, so that if in fact there was an application for hydrofracking, there would have to be a road use plan as part of that. So again, there may be some protections that are going to already be built in once DEC passes its regs and they actually go into place. But again, right now those things are all in flux, and I think this a moratorium gives you the basis for protection, but then gives you an option to, once the dust settles a little bit, let you know what the best protection is for the town in that way. So if you have questions, I'm happy to answer them, and then once said, you can go from there.
Basically, what you see out there dealing with other towns and municipalities that you're dealing with in this consortium of attorneys,
Yeah.
it's your opinion that we should not act on this now, but should do a resolution,
A moratorium. I think that gives you the maximum flexibility. Again, it's a philosophic choice rather than, you know, I can't guarantee you that it's wrong to pass a moratorium, or to pass an anti-fracking statute under the guise of the heavy industry prohibition. The problem is that those are the statutes that are being specifically attacked right now, and why put a target on yourself unnecessarily? Because if someone who's already signed a lease in the town, or somebody who wants to challenge it, it puts a target on your back, and that's an expense to defend. So that's my feeling.
Thank you, Dave. Any questions for Dave? Shane?
No.
Rich?
No, I don't have
Dan?
No.
Okay, sir. I know you have other meetings to go
I do.
to.
I'm sorry to talk and run, but I gotta be out of here. But I understand you have copies both of the, we had put together a heavy industry prohibition statute, which I think I have in front of you. We also put the moratorium and laid that on the desks today to move forward.